Hi guys, welcome to the video. If you recognize this background and this day and how I look, no you don't. I wanted to do a very in-depth look at resumes and what you need to do in order to get ready for winter hiring. Oh my god. So this video is being filmed at the start of 2026, which means anyone watching hopefully is applying for winter 26-27. You have 10 months till winter, and you have like 5 months till hiring starts. So this is an ideal time to start getting yourself set up with, obviously your visa is really important, but also your resume. Actually, I think you need to post your resume for your visa, but let's just focus on having your resume ready for ski resort jobs. Okay, I'm going to help you get ready for winter. So if you've never had a resume before, that's totally fine. And if you already have one, this is just about tailoring it to getting a winter job because it's a little more specific. I will probably share mine. I'm going to disclaim it. All of this information is purely my own assumption, opinion, and advice and knowledge. This is not taken from the Vail Resorts HR or anything like this. This is just me, what I'm assuming. My background is that I obviously worked for Whistler. I got a job, so I did something right there. And then I was a manager for a long time. So that meant that I was part of the recruiting process, and I helped hire some leadership roles. I helped train and supervise all the new staff for my restaurant. And then previous to that, I did a lot of recruiting and hiring and onboarding and whatever else for my previous company in Australia. So let me tell you, I've read through some resumes in my time. This is more my advice for winter and for Whistler because that's what I know and love. Firstly, before we even start, there's a few options for templates. What I normally use is a website called My Perfect Cover Letter or something like that. And then you can do a resume in there. I think it's like $15 or something. Honestly, it's probably something worth buying if you just can't be bothered with designing a resume, which is like so fair. What I find really handy in My Perfect Resume or My Perfect Cover Letter, whatever it is, number one, you have cover letter and resume, and then you basically input all your information, so like your work history, your education, your skills, all that kind of thing, and then they create some beautiful designs for you, and then you can like chop and change it how you like. If you need to update something, you're not like fiddling around with the document, you just input the data again and then it will spit out something nicer for you. I have now upgraded to a Google Doc that I edit myself for free. Again, it's a little fiddly. I do think the design of your resume is important, not hugely important, but you want it to be really clear and professional and easy to read. I think easy to read is important. Again, this is for entry-level roles or potentially like some skilled roles, but again, for a seasonal position. I'm not talking about trying to get your dream career job. That's irrelevant, okay? This is just for this. So, and I think that it being very clear, it should be your number one priority. So I've touched on this previously, but I would assume at this point in this world that we live in, there's some sort of AI model that is helping to read through and filter through resumes, especially for the entry-level roles. If you're coming over for just a winter season, an entry-level role is what you're after. Something that you don't need any experience in and very easy to get a job and easier to get housing, I would say. Write your resume as if the AI is going to be reading it, not a person. So like I said, making it very clear to read, very well designed and concise. Following that, the actual information itself, I think it's really important that you're using the wording that is easy to understand in both countries. So if you're from Australia and you're applying for a job in Canada, making sure that the descriptions that you're using is relevant in Canada as well. Obviously, they're both English-speaking countries and first world countries, so most of it's pretty standard. However, if there's something that's, very particular to Australia that a Canadian wouldn't understand, keep that in mind. Try and use a very generic term for your job. Important thing that you should see in your job history is your job title. Don't make it the job, like the business of the job. So say you worked at some random burger place called, Johnny's Big Ones or whatever. I don't know where that came from. Don't have, I worked at Johnny's Big Ones from 2012 to 2014, because if I'm reading that resume, I'm like, I don't know what the F that is. And yeah, maybe if I read through the description, it's like, oh, it's a burger place. But I'm like, that doesn't give me any information on your job title at all. So make it really clear. Okay, I was a front of house server then smaller at Johnny's 2012, whatever, right? I think the job title and the time that you were there is important. And then following that, your duties in that role is really important. Again, you want to use those keywords that the AI is going to look for, or a person in general. So saying training staff on food safety, cash handling, supervising and onboarding staff. Using those really keywords. Don't say, oh yeah, I helped teach people how to do this. No, that's ridiculous. I don't think there's any problem with this. Use AI to help you create a better resume. Like I just said, I help teach people. Say to chat, hey, make this sound better and more concise and more clear, and he will help. He's not a he. I don't even know what it is. He's a he to me. It will help you make it sound more professional. I don't think there's anything wrong with using AI to help build a resume, because you're the one that's had the experience in the job. Don't lie about your experience. Don't overhype what you were. 100%. That's really, really important. Don't lie, because just in general, don't lie. But you can use AI to help you get your point across more clearly with less words. Less words is key. It should be really simple and really easy to read. If you're going for a more skilled role, job history, I think try and give more information on the experience that you have. Say you're a front of house manager back home, and then you're applying for a front of house manager role in Whistler, then in your resume, it might be handy to give more specifics on your background. Because I found reading resumes, it's like, okay, this person worked in this place for 2 years. You think, oh wow, that's a long time working there. But actually, he only worked part-time and he only worked on this station. So it's like, okay, so that's very important to know. Again, that's for more skilled. I don't know why I'm jumping into that. I'm jumping around. Sorry. I'm thinking about my own history. Yeah, like I said, the job history should be, the majority of your resume. That's the whole point of the resume, is to show that your experience. If you don't have a lot of job experience, that's okay. Like, you can't help that, so whatever. But if there's something that you've done that can show those sort of skills that a job has, like say you've done babysitting, or say you've done coaching, or say something like that, then I would highlight that more in your resume. So say you've only had one part-time job because you've been in school. That's so fine. Have that, and then you can have some sort of skill set underneath. This is relevant for everyone. I know that in a normal resume, there's a lot of space and room for your education and then your, hobbies and that kind of thing. Education, sure, you can have that on there. You don't have to write your primary school and your high school and whatever, all that. It's not relevant. You can say completed year 12, completed my schooling or whatever. Then if you went to university or TAFE, that's important. I think still add that. But again, it doesn't need to be, I don't need to give all the details on my psychology degree because I'm applying for an entry-level role. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to give a shit about that, to be honest. And then I know people love to put their hobbies and stuff. Oh, I played netball and I walk my dogs or whatever. I do not think that's relevant on a resume for applying for a job for ski season. I think it's just noise and unnecessary. If you happen to have an interview, sure, maybe that's when you say, oh my God, I love to walk my dogs and whatever. But in terms of your resume, it doesn't provide any value at all. I would say instead of including your hobbies or just random crap, if you have any sort of special skills or certificates or training or anything in terms of that is when you can add that to your resume. So if you have your first aid, or if you have a retail certificate, or if you have food safety certificate, anything like that, that's actually relevant to some sort of job, then add that. If it's something random like, oh, I won this award in school, no, it's not important. It's just irrelevant. I'm sorry to say that. So my resume used to be 2 pages. I do have one that's still 2 pages. It's got like a lot of information. I actually condensed mine down to 1 page now, so it's very, very, very clear. I also used to have my references. I don't know. Chat suggested to me to just say references available upon request. I think that's fine. You might find that when you're applying for jobs on the actual application, it'll have a spot for resume, and then it might have a spot for references separately, and that's when you can include your references. I have been in reference for a lot of people, maybe like 100, and rarely do I get contacted. So yeah, I think just saying references available upon request is totally fine. I don't think that you need a photo of yourself on your resume. You definitely do not have to do that. It's a waste of space. Obviously, on the top, you want to make sure that you have your full name. You need to have like an email or your phone number, and then you don't need to disclose your age on your resume either. What I would suggest is making sure that you have like a little blurb section, and that section keep really concise on your major skill set, so that if someone's just skimming through, they can have a really brief summary of your work history. For mine, it's like a decade of hospitality management focusing around back of house and coffee making, or I don't know, something like that. Interested in working in roles where I can focus on human relations and growing revenue of a business, something like that, right? So it's got your history and then what you're interested in. And then I know it's a little hectic because you're applying for a job in Canada, so it's like, oh my God, my visa and like my number's going to change, and that I wouldn't worry about that. Don't worry about that at all. Keep your resume very like exact, right? You don't have to change that basically ever. That is the thing that just is going to stay consistent no matter what job you're applying for generally. Your cover letter is where it's more important to be more specific based on the job that you're applying for. I got to freshen up, guys. If you're applying for an entry-level role for Winter or Whistler or whatever the F, you can use your cover letter. I don't even know if they're going to read it, to be honest. But if they do, you can use that as a very concise way of explaining your plans for Canada. So you could say already have your visa organized, or you're in a process of getting your visa organized. If you have skiing ability, you can say, yep, I have, I would consider myself an intermediate skier and would be interested in a role where I can ski for work or whatever. You can say I'm available to start from November. I don't have any time off planned, etc., etc. If you do have time off planned, I mean, you don't have to disclose it, to be honest. You probably do in an interview because like you're not really meant to have any time off over winter, or if you can only start in December or whatever it is. If there's something particular that you kind of need to get your point across, sure. Or housing, you can say in your cover letter, I'm moving with my partner and we are both looking for staff housing, or if you're just by yourself, whatever, I'm looking for a job with staff housing. Yeah, I think that's the main things. And then if you're applying for a specific job that you're really interested in because you have skills in it, so say you're a manager and you're applying for a management role, that's when you can go into more detail about your history of management and give some details like, yeah, I worked at a very busy restaurant that served this many people and I'm interested in a role. You can give more detail there on why you want this job and why you have the skill set for the job. But the cover letter is the one that's going to change. Say you're applying for a lift, you can say, yeah, really enjoy working independently, have very good attention to detail. And then if you're applying for your hospo job, you might say, yeah, I love working in a really busy environment. I have a lot of experience working in a busy environment, and I'm a very fast learner. Does that make sense? You know, like tailor it. Don't lie, but tailor it to the job that you're applying for. Hope that helps a little bit. To reiterate, again, the most important thing, I think, be really, really clear and make your resume look very easy to read. Get chat to help with your description and your duties and stuff. Again, don't lie. Don't let chat get out of hand, because he can sometimes get a little silly. You can just say, hey, can you make this description of my duties sound a little more professional or a little bit more concise, as in less words and easier to read. If he's gone too crazy, you say, hey, make it a little bit less professional sounding. You've gone a little crazy. And then he should bring it back in. And yeah, have someone else read through it. Someone, you know, a family member, or maybe your like current boss or something, say, hey, can you read through this? Does that make sense to you? Like, do you think that you would hire me, or, you know, whatever it is, and have someone else read it, and they can, maybe you've accidentally got an error, or maybe they can say, oh, it's actually like, that kind of doesn't make sense what you've written here. And then that will help as well. If you have any more questions or anything that I've missed, please like leave me a comment, because I'm happy to help. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to. Actually, that's a lie. I have just got a new job, so maybe I can ask them why they hired me. I don't know. But I got a job pretty easily, so I'm clearly on to something. Hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions, let me know. If you want me to help you more personally, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm happy to help, and we can have like a further chat there. If you want me to read through your resume or want any help with anything, I can certainly do that. No drama at all. And if you are currently in the process of coming over here, need more help with your visa or anything, I have a working holiday guide. If you didn't know, it's available to purchase. I have a link in the description somewhere. You'll find it easily. Just created like a step-by-step guide on how to do a working holiday, how to get your visa, how to get a job. When I came over, there was so much stuff on the internet. It was very overwhelming and very confusing. It took me a really, really long time to learn everything and feel more confident. So that's why I created this, as, you know, it doesn't have all the answers, but it's just, you know, a companion to help you on your journey so you don't feel so alone. Yeah, if you need more help on literally anything working holiday related or Whistler related or whatever, I have so many playlists for you. Lots of good information in different spots. So feel free to check those out. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys if you've made it this far. I love making all this content for you. I love helping you guys out. It's honestly like my favorite thing to do ever. So yeah, I really, really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.